I came to Liberia in June of '92, as the organizers had already explained to you. As the Chief of Staff of the ECOMOG, I was also the Director of Operations. It was at that time, or during that time, that we had the Octopus operation. For the first time of my long years of service, I stood at a point at Paul River Bridge. I saw what is called refugees in distress. I was wearing dark glasses. For the first time in my remembrance, tears came out of my eyes when I saw displaced Liberians coming, some carried in wheelbarrows, some carried in some form of makeshift arrangement that I couldn't understand. From that day on, I understood why I was sent to this place. I had not been a politician, so I didn't very much know too much about Liberia. In any case, you didn't know too much about Nigeria either. But having come here to serve as an officer at a very high level, and to see how a people, a nice set of people, can go through the type of trauma that you went through, I knew it was absolutely necessary for somebody elsewhere to do whatever it took to help bring peace to this country.
Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
During the Cold War, it was inconceivable that the United States would have allowed Liberia to slide into the state of anarchy that now prevailed. In addition to the historical ties, Liberia was a strategic post of some importance to the United States. The Roberts Field Airport in Liberia acted as a standby U.S. strategic refueling and landing site for rapid deployment forces. The United States also had a 500-strong embassy, which acted as the CIA station for the region. Firestone, the world's largest rubber plantation, was operated in Liberia by U.S. interest and, prior to the Civil War, almost 5,000 Americans resided in Liberia, including businessmen, diplomats, missionaries, and 160 members of the Peace Corps. Liberia had outlived her strategic usefulness to the United States, and Master Sergeant Doe was the latest victim of imperial euthanasia. In the wake of Doe's execution and the palpable political tension that followed in Liberia, countries like the United States and other European countries began a mass evacuation of their citizens. The Nigerian government led by General Ibrahim Babangida, a close ally to Samuel Doe, did not show the same proactiveness. He was rightly criticized for his lackadaisical approach to evacuating Nigerian citizens. He claimed, implausibly at the time, that such a move would create divisions among Africans. But it was a grave miscalculation, and Babangida fiddled while Liberia burned. Some 3,000 Nigerians were trapped in Liberia, and many had sought refuge in the Nigerian embassy. Having threatened to kill the Nigerian ambassador and Nigerian professors at the University of Liberia, the NPFL attacked the Nigerian embassy on 12 July and August 8, 1990, killing some of its citizens. Before the Nigerian Civil War, the army was a light infantry of 6,000 soldiers, its air force had no frontline jets or airlift capability, and its navy could not provide support for the army. But having embarked on a 20-year arms build-up fueled by the oil boom of the 1970s, some senior members of the Nigerian army were keen to test out both their new weaponry and the battle preparedness of their troops. It was also felt that the intervention could help deter countries like Cameroon and Chad, with which Nigeria has had clashes over disputed border areas. Senior members of the army led by Babangida, staked their honor and professional reputation to bring peace to Liberia even at great economic cost to itself at a time when the country had an external debt of $33 billion, and against a growing tide of domestic public opinions.
In order to move away from the decade declarations of good intentions on economic unity to the necessary but sometimes risky realm of choice, responsibility, and action, we must now be prepared to make initial concrete commitment in terms of resources and hard political decisions.
In the absence of decisive action from the United States and the rest of the international community, and in the face of continued killings and atrocities, it was the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, that took the decision to intervene in the Liberian conflict. At the 13th ECOWAS summit in May 1990, a standing mediation committee was established to examine ways to resolving the Liberian crisis and any other conflicts that were brewing in the sub-region. This resulted in the formation and dispatch of the ECOWAS Military Observer Group, ECOMOG, to Liberia, with the aim that it would keep an arranged peace between the warring factions. General Babangida used his ability to forge personal relationships to good effect with key countries like Ghana, Gambia, and Sierra Leone. The personal chemistry between Babangida and Jerry Rawlings cemented the Abuja-Accra axis, which was the most crucial alliance for the establishment of ECOMOG, and remained the most important partnership for the sub-regional initiative throughout the war. Charles Taylor and his NPFL were opposed to the deployment of a West African force, and he threatened to attack them if they landed in Liberia. On 27th of August 1990, ECOMOG landed in Liberia with 2,600 troops drawn from Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. The peacekeeping force was commanded by Lieutenant General Anthony Kavenu from Ghana. Taylor and the NPFL made good of their promise to attack ECOMOG troops. On 14th of September 1990, 2 Ghanaian sailors and 3 Nigerian nurses were killed when NPFL artillery shells hit the GNS Achimota, carrying a fact-finding mission to Liberia. Not surprisingly, after suffering casualties during vicious attacks by the NPFL, ECOMOG reacted by swapping its white helmet for green berets. The ECOMOG mandate was changed by its political leaders from peacekeeping to peace enforcement. The peacekeepers were ordered to establish a buffer zone in Monrovia against NPFL attacks. Sent to carry out the new mandate was Nigeria's Major General Joshua Dogonyaro, a close ally to General Babangida and a no-nonsense general, popularly known as the Enforcer. All 7 ECOMOG commanders after Dogonyaro would come from the Nigerian army. But perhaps the most glaring indication that the Liberian crisis had escalated beyond the capabilities of ECOWAS diplomatic machinery was the massive attack launched by the NPFL on ECOMOG. In October 1992, Charles Taylor launched the deadly Operation Octopus, a well-planned operation with the sole aim of dislodging the interventionist forces and taking over the capital city of Monrovia.
Confirm we should maintain our fire again, over. You have to,
After about 4 weeks, the rebels were completely driven out of the city. But for the residents, it was 4 weeks of hell. The more obvious it became that their mission to take over the capital had failed, the more brutal the rebels became towards the civilian population. Once again, they reverted to what has become their hallmark, the hacking off of limbs of civilians of all ages.